place.
KMBC 9 brings you an exclusive interview with Chiefs General Manager Scott Pioli. Johnny Kane is here to tell us more.
Okay, guys, Len Dawson and I had the opportunity to sit down with Scott this weekend, talk about what we all can agree has been a disappointing season to this point. This is part of our sit-down conversation.
Before the season, great expectations for this football team, and in your opinion, what went wrong?
You know, I think the off-season is always a funny time, and I know some people refer to me as a wet blanket during the off-season because I agree that we look good on paper, and I'm always that guy who's cautiously optimistic. And I think when you put together a team and you look at things on paper and you start making predictions or projections of how good a team is going to be, the bottom line is you got to go out on Sundays and play the games. It doesn't matter how much talent you assemble, that team still has to come together. The talent has to come together. They have to have cohesiveness. There has to be chemistry. And then they got to go out and play games and execute. I don't think there's anybody within the organization, outside the organization, that thought we would be at 1-7. You know, I don't think anyone ever expected that, but that's where we are.
3 weeks ago, you said you were still confident in Romeo Crennel as the day you hired him. They're 1-7 right now. You still feel the same way?
I'm still as confident in Romeo as the day I hired him. I really am. And again, I watch this. I see the things that people don't see. I see how hard this coaching staff is working. I see how hard the players are working. And then what it has to do is that work has to manifest itself on Sundays, and it's not. Now, I don't think that that's coaching. I think that there's things that have to be done out there, and people have to take responsibility for what's going on. And, it starts with me, because if some of these things aren't going right, every single one of us has a hand in it.
I know we're going to bring you more of that interview coming up a little bit later in sports, specifically how often he disagrees with Chiefs Chairman Clark Hunt.
All right, we're looking forward to that. Thank you very much, Johnny.
Down interview we brought you a little bit ago with Chiefs General Manager Scott Pioli. As I mentioned, we ran part of it earlier in the newscast. One interesting aspect came about when we asked Scott how often he speaks with the chairman of the board, Clark Hunt, and if they ever disagree. Have a listen.
See, you're the general manager, but the guy that is in charge of everything is Clark Hunt. Yeah. How frequently do you speak with Clark?
Clark and I speak almost every day or almost every day. There's different times we have things come up based on my schedule or his schedule. We talk nearly every single day.
I don't know if you can disagree with the chairman of the board, but do you ever disagree? Have any disagreements, the two of you?
Oh, I think everyone has disagreements, and I know he disagrees with me on some things, but that's healthy. I mean, I believe in disagreement, because I think if you get too many, you want people who are like-minded, but don't have all of the same answers, because disagreement is the only way that you grow. If you have everybody's thinking the same and everything's okay and you're always singing Kumbaya, I think you're headed for disaster.
This is your 4th year with the organization. How would you evaluate your progress?
Well, there's only one way to evaluate progress, or evaluate where you're at, and that's with your record. Right now we're 1-7, so I'm 1-7.
The fans, how are you going to get their trust back?
By winning. Winning, like you've seen it. I know some of our private conversations, you told me about the struggles that you went through as a player, that you went through as a part of some teams, and the only thing that cures any of the ills in this business is winning. When you win a lot of games, you're really smart or you're really good. But the truth is, when there's times of great success, you're never as smart as they say, you're never as good as they say. That goes for the general manager, the head coach, the assistant coaching staff, the video people, the players. But when there's failure, you're also not as dumb as they say, you're not as bad as they say. And so we hit both ends of the spectrum, and we're all pretty much in the middle, and you have good days and bad days. And you just, the only way to take care of this is winning football games, and that's the only thing that takes care of this.
All right, now we're going to be airing this interview in its entirety during our Monday Night Football special week from tomorrow. I'll be in Pittsburgh setting the stage for the Chiefs and Steelers. Our special run from 6:30 to 7 o'clock. Then KMBC will televise the Monday night game directly following.